What's up, everyone? My name's Argyle. I'm a Roadrunner Racer VTuber, and I've mentioned before that I love Porsche, and I actually own a Porsche myself. It's a Cayman. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing like super expensive, but it is something that I had to work for in order to get, right? But I liked Porsche obviously before I got it, and I mentioned before that I liked it because of Need for Speed Most Wanted. But why do people actually like Porsche? Not just me, but like, why do a lot of people like Porsche? Well, there's this video to explain it. So let's get into this. This is by SuperfastMatt, and let's see what he has to say. All right, let's go.
Porsche. They make the best sports cars in the world, or so I'm told. I've spent my entire life weaving in and out of different car subcultures, but I've never really gotten into Porsche, partly because I grew up in a part of the country where people just don't drive Porsches, but partly because it's always been a little bit out of my price range. But a lot of people I know who are really into cars love Porsches. Excellent drivers, people who are not very good drivers but enjoy it, YouTubers, celebrities. Some of the best automotive engineers I've ever worked with all love Porsches. But why? Why does Porsche have such passionate fans? What makes the cars so good? I'm guessing it's not the back seat.
Oh man, I've tried to go into the back of those, and it happens, but it's very very tight. Let's just say that if I get into an accident, I'm gonna basically have no legs, or at least they're gonna be very inoperable afterwards.
There are a lot of brands that people get really passionate about, but there's something a little more elusive about Porsche. People will tell you that it's just something you have to experience. But no, it must be explainable. It must be knowable. And I will find out. I talked to a lot of these people.
Hey, Jalen.
I think I've distilled it down into an explanation that can convey why people love this brand so much and what makes their cars so good. So join me as I drive a lot of cars that I cannot afford.
Mood. It sounds so good.
To understand Porsche, you first need to understand the Volkswagen Beetle. And to understand the Beetle, you first need to understand Hitler. Porsche began as an engineering consulting company in...
For fuck's sake, I've done 2 reaction videos, and each one, it's like, oh, Nazis. Great.
Germany in the 1930s, and one of its first contracts was from the Führer himself. Ferdinand Porsche and his team were tasked with designing a reliable, efficient family car for the German people. That car would become the Volkswagen Type 1, later called the Beetle. Only a handful of civilian Beetles were made before production shifted to military transport vehicles and tanks. After the war, Ferdinand Porsche, who had been an SS officer in the Nazi Party, was arrested for war crimes. He was never tried, but spent almost 2 years imprisoned. During this time, his son, Ferry Porsche, kept the company in business. Ferry would soon design the first car to bear the Porsche name, the 356. Based on the Volkswagen Beetle, the 356 had a rear-mounted, air-cooled 4-cylinder, but with a focus on performance. Early on, the company did not have much of a following, and it took them 2
Guards red, let's go.
years to make just 49 cars. But with constant improvement and some important wins in racing, the company began to sell more and more cars. The 356 went through 4 different design series, each having
I don't know what blue that is, but it's a really nice color.
a little bit less in common with the Beetle. Production spanned 18 years and 76,000 cars before the 356 was replaced by a larger, more powerful, and more comfortable car,
The 911. Yep.
The 911, or 911 if you want to start an argument, was an evolution of the
911!
356 in the same way that that car was an evolution of the original Beetle. It is currently on its 8th generation and is approaching 60 years old. It still has the rear engine, still has 2 doors with the tiny back seats, and it still has that distinctive shape. And people still love it. But why?
But why?
Porsche was never on my radar as a kid. I didn't have the posters on my wall. I didn't have any friends with rich dads who drove them. I never really gave them much thought until I moved to California and started noticing them being driven by a lot of people I knew who were really into cars.
I mean, I was kind of the same. Like, I remember as a kid, we had this chalkboard, like literally, not a chalkboard, a cork board, right? To like pin the pictures on, and there was like the Lamborghini, there was I think there was a Ford Mustang, obviously at the time, like 2005 2006, we had to print off these cars and pin them up. I don't remember them I don't remember one of them being like a Porsche. But the one thing that got me into Porsches, even though it wasn't exactly the brand itself, but the style of Porsche was again the Cayman from Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, Baron's Cayman. Like that car is literally a hero car to me, and I can't wait to see it when I continue playing it. But yeah, but ever since then, ever since that game, up until I looked into more what Porsche was, which was not actually not that long ago, like 6 years ago, something like that. It was a case of if I saw a Porsche styled car in a video game, whether it be GTA or, a movie or something, I'm like, oh, I like that. But I didn't explicitly say like, oh, I like that. Like what brand is that? It's this weird thing where it's like I knew I liked it, but I didn't pursue it enough. You know what I mean? But I knew back then, like if somebody asked me, oh, Argyle, what's your dream car? Like instead of a Lamborghini or something, I was just like, I don't know, a Porsche Cayman. It's weird, funny how that works.
In fact, almost everyone who is deep into cars loves Porsche. I've seen Jay Leno a dozen times at car meets around LA, and the only car I've ever seen him in twice is this one. A 1963 Porsche 356 Carrera 2.
Hell yeah.
This has really exploded in the last couple of years. A lot of people have flocked to the brand, driving up prices of new cars, old cars, water-cooled, air-cooled, freaking tractors.
Yep, they did make tractors. I think Lamborghini also made tractors, or at least worked on them before constructing his own Lamborghinis.
Are a lot of car companies beloved by groups of people? It's usually pretty clear what attracts people to them. Excellent designs, beautiful lines, sharp edges, owners who got dropped on their heads when they were babies.
Oh my god, the fucking PT Cruiser. When I was a kid, this car, my dad kept on saying like, oh, I'm gonna get one of these PT Cruisers, and I'm like, even back then I was like, Dad, that is literally one of the ugliest cars I've ever seen in my whole life. And even to this day, because I remember when the quote unquote new Toyota Supra came out, and I remember being like, I'm not exactly a huge fan of the front end. The rear end's kind of weird, but the front end, like the lights, I don't like that bit that comes out direct towards the middle, right? Like I don't like the bit, like the kind of like, what would you call it, like nozzle, the nose at the front. Like I was kind of like, but honestly now, after years of looking at it, I have to say, like I've really come around to the Toyota Supra. Like I actually think it's a good looking car. But even decades later, I look at the PT Cruiser and I can say with all my heart that that is still one of the ugliest cars that I've ever seen. And I'm so glad that my dad didn't buy one, because I would have just been like, I am not riding in that thing.
But there's something elusive about Porsche. The cars don't look that good. They don't have that much
Whoa. Let's chill out a bit there.
power. So why do people love them? You might be asking, Matt, if you're trying to find out why people love Porsche, why don't you just ask? Well, I did. I found some people who really like the car, and I asked them why.
That's
And I
interesting.
got answers that were not entirely helpful.
You put on a lot of different brands of sneakers, but we all decide on, hey, I love the Adidas, I love the Nike. That was my experience with a Porsche 911.
I like Spike. Nice guy. Good podcast. But this is not a very helpful answer. It doesn't really tell me anything. It's like if I asked you why you liked Nike shoes and you said, oh, it's like cars. Some people like BMW and some like Porsche. Let's keep asking people.
It was just Beatles, really. And everyone loves the Beatles and the Stones, right?
Okay, very poetic. 911s are basically Beatles, and everyone likes the Beatles and the Stones. Also,
Brilliant
not
answer.
super helpful. If you really like the Beatles and I want to know why, I don't have to ask you. I can just listen to the White Album. This is because the White Album does not cost $140,000.
Real.
But maybe I can borrow the White Album. This is a 1965 Porsche 356C. It is owned by my friend Jared over at JNH Classics. He spent a long time fixing up this car and has lots of videos on his channel about it.
So that's why there's a bunch of dents in it. Like, look, I don't think you can see the cursor, but it's like on the light, right? The front side wing, and you can see a bit on the door there. That explains it.
I asked to drive it so that I could understand the Porsche mystique. Why this car? Well, because Jerry Seinfeld, perhaps the most famous Porsche enthusiast of them all, once said,
"If you want to understand the Porsche mystique, the three cars you must drive are an early 911, a 356C, and a Volkswagen Beetle. The 356C particularly, if you want to feel, what are these guys about? If that's the question you want answered, drive that car."
Look, maybe I'm being a bit on a high horse here, but I don't think you need to do all that. I think even just drive drive a 911. It doesn't have to be an early 911. I think even like a 997 911. I think that would kind of make you kind of understand why. Sure, maybe drive a 356. I don't know about the model differences. He said the 356C. I don't know what the difference is, but a Beetle, like, come on, man. But on like even a Boxster, a Cayman, hell, even there's actually a few like the Panamera and even the Macan that are a bit on the sportier side. Like, sure, one of them's a saloon, one of them's a sport SUV, but people have driven them and are like, oh, this drives quite much like a Porsche, like how a Porsche kind of would make one, right? But in my opinion, sure, drive any 911 or a Boxster and Cayman and then a 356. Like a lot of these cars that he's mentioning, like again, like an early 911, right? Again, like I don't know many people who have access to one. I do know people, but the average person probably doesn't know one, right? 356C, again, where do you find these, right? And a Beetle, I understand it's because the 356 and the Volkswagen Beetle, they share the same, they kind of share the same ish platform, right? Just one's more for performance, but I don't know. I don't agree with this.
This car really...
Just drive any Porsche, basically. That's what I'm saying. Just drive any Porsche. And if you really want to try and understand, like, just drive any Porsche. But even just driving, even a Boxster 986, you know, it's not super fast, but people have come away with that being like, listen, it's not fast, but the handling is amazing. The sound is amazing. So, you know, just give it a shot. And they're more affordable than a 356.
Surprised me, especially the way it drives. I like the way it looks, not so much the body style, but the interior is great. It has that mid-1960s feel before cars got too plasticky and too busy, but it's done really well. I love the dash, love the headliner.
Same.
The seats are just comfortable enough, and it sounds pretty great. It's like a really well-engineered tractor. This is not too surprising since Porsche engineered some of those too.
If I remember correctly, it's a flat 4. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it's a flat 4. And it's funny how, like, I'm listening to this and I think it sounds great, but then, you know, there's the flat 4s in the newer Boxster and Cayman, and we all kind of almost collectively agree it's like it's not guttural enough. I don't know, but also just the flat 6 engine just suits the Boxster and Cayman more, like the 911. You know what I mean? It's what I'm saying is it's weird, this kind of like this like difference in perception.
The really surprising part is the handling. Older cars often feel loose or a little tired, and that makes me lose confidence in the steering. And this does feel a little bit floaty and loose, but it actually inspires confidence. I don't feel like I need to be constantly correcting it. The suspension is way better than it has any right to be for a car this old. It feels planted in the corners, but soft over the bumps, almost like active suspension, like it knows what's coming up. I really like this car. I want to own one of these cars. What are they, like 10 grand? Oh my. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why I was saying like these cars just aren't as open to people to try one. So it's like, can't just try a Boxster. Just try a Boxster, man.
Actually find one for 10 grand. It has what real estate agents would call potential.
Oh yeah.
I also had a
just paint it over, just get the dings out. It'll be back on the road soon enough.
drive in a 912. The 912 is essentially an early 911 with a smaller engine. It's slower, but it handles a bit better because it has less weight hanging off the back. This is not exactly an early 911, but it's pretty close. I didn't love this car. It felt more like a sports car than the 356, but it didn't put the same smile on my face. That's not to say it's bad. I had just driven the 356, and that's a hard act to follow. Compare it to literally any American car made in the
Again, look at that dashboard. It looks so good.
same time
Like, it's so simple, but it looks so stylish.
frame, and you're probably going to prefer the Porsche. Like the 356, it has
Sorry, what do you say?
car made in the same time frame, and that's a hard act to follow. Compare it to literally any American car made in the same time frame, and you're probably going to prefer the Porsche.
Oh,
Like the
yeah.
356, it has the confidence-inspiring handling. Both of these cars are more than the sum of their parts, more so than most cars. You can tell that they are engineered systems, not just engineered parts assembled into a system. There's a big difference. The 356C was the result of 18 years of improvement. What happens after another 18 years? What happens after another 50 years?
Let's
This is a
go.
911 991.2 GT3. It has the same two-door, four-seat layout. It has the same engine in the back with the pistons on the side, just like the early 911s, just like the 356, just like the Beetle. This is what happens when you let the Germans improve on the same thing for a lifetime. It has
True.
500 horsepower. It goes 200 miles per hour. It costs more than every vehicle I've ever owned combined. It is very nice. It is engaging in a way that few other cars
Look how dirty that front end is. That is someone who drives their car.
are. Throttle response is incredible. Shifting is virtually instantaneous. The handling feels like the car knows what you're thinking.
Look at this smile on his face. Like, that's just what these cars do to you, man. Like again, they're not the fastest, but they just have a way of just making you smile. And it's the same with my car. Again, my car's not the fastest, but it just has this way of putting a smile on my face.
Turn on sport mode and all of those things get better. It will put a smile on your face, and it might send you to jail with a smile on your face. I didn't want to go to jail, so I didn't push it, but I previously had a chance to sit shotgun in a GT3 around a racetrack, and it was bananas. I towed what is essentially a race car to the track, and this dude just drove his air-conditioned Porsche in quiet luxury and then lapped the course 7 seconds faster than me.
But that's you get the best of both worlds. You get like a track weapon, and you get air conditioning and a radio and heated seats, maybe. And like, what more could you want?
But the really impressive thing about this car is how good it is as a car. It's comfortable, reliable, you can see out of it, mostly. The suspension is soft.
Listen, when you're going fast enough, you don't need to look out the back window. You don't need to look out the back window.
Enough for everyday use. In fact, the guy who owns it drives this car all the time.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, I'm about to have a little small rant here, but I hate people who buy cars like these, like not even like hypercars, right? Just something like a supercar, and they're like, oh, I'm going to store it away and just never take it out. I was like, no, fuck you, man. Like actually use your car. If I bought a Lamborghini, right? If I bought a GT3, I would be taking that car out as much as I possibly could, right? Like, sure, like I would probably have to take more into account about the weather. Usually when it comes to Porsches, they're pretty good when it comes to the weather. But if I get like a, what do you call it? A 4-wheel drive 911, or even a Lamborghini, right? Because they come in 4-wheel drive as well. Then again, even if it's raining, what is the actual problem? Unless you do not know how to drive your car, then there shouldn't be a problem. But no, it's like, oh, but the value is like, look, maybe I'm in the minority in this case, but I'm just like, I don't care. Sure, would it be nice to get the same amount of money back that I spent for it? Yes. But I bought this car to, guess what? I bought it to drive it. I don't know. It's just something that's always kind of bothered me personally. I feel like I've said this ad nauseum, but it's like if I buy this car, just like I bought my Cayman, right? I didn't buy it to, see if the value would go up. I bought it to drive it, to have fun, right? And to just enjoy it. So, but this guy, whoever drives this GT3, like, you are a legend.
Gotten back from a road trip in it.
I respect you.
And this is one of the high performance variants. You want a little more comfort and a little more backseat? Get a GTS or a Turbo S. It's easy to make a car do one thing really well, but it's really difficult to make a car that does everything really well. There are so many compromises, and when it comes to sports cars, it's hard to imagine anyone navigating those compromises as well as Porsche has done with this car. I swear the suspension can see forward in time, and you must think they have some sort of secret advanced suspension geometry, but they don't. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The 356 uses trailing arm front suspension at a time when most sports cars had switched to a dual wishbone suspension. These days, sports cars are mostly dual wishbone or double ball joint. There is another common front suspension called McPherson strut. This is the low-cost option, used on all sorts of cheap front-wheel drive econobox cars. And also, almost all modern 911s. It's not unheard of to use this on a sports car, but it does seem like a bit of a flex. Give Porsche suspension parts from a Beetle or a Golf, and they will make it handle better than anything Jaguar can come up with. I started to understand why
Ooh, shots fired. Boso. Is he wrong?
people like these cars and why they're so good. I found a couple other Porsche fans and asked them why they love their Porsches, this time with a little more understanding and some better questions.
I never appreciated these cars.
Hey, Jay Leno.
You could pay like $7 grand for this and get 150 horsepower, or for $5,000 you get 425 horsepower Corvette. And when you're a teenager, it's all about the horsepower, you know. But then when you drive something like this, it's really the whole driving experience. You're really involved in the car. These cars never had power steering or any of that stuff back in the day. So everything had to be nicely weighted, nicely balanced. And the way it all comes together in sort of a symphony, it's just remarkable to drive. You know, a lot of cars, you get up to 100, whoa, you're getting all this stuff, you're getting aerodynamic lift, and you're getting buffeting, and you don't get any of that with this. It's remarkable.
Yeah, especially with older cars, like that is a big problem, right? Basically, it's like, what do you want a high horsepower car that when you get up to top speed, or not even near top speed, you start, shaking about? Or do you want something that's still competent, but doesn't give you all this headache, right? I mean, I know which one I would take.
Well, they're usable, practical, very fast, and their build quality is exceptional. They tend to work, and so they're very precisely made, and they offer a level of performance and build quality and engagement that is not really available from a lot of other places.
Do you think that's true going all the way back to the early cars in the 60s?
Sure. I think the further back you go, the more different it is from regular cars. If you drive a 1971 Chevelle compared to a 1971 Porsche, one of those things is a shitbox, and it's not the Porsche. Air-cooled 911s especially were built to last.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. The cars are a symphony, every part working together to make a great product. This is rare and difficult. Also, good build quality. This is true, especially of the older cars. There are a ton of old Porsches still on the road. This partly has to do with the fact that they hold older value, so there's an incentive to keep your car on the road.
Yeah. What I was about to say was that I know a few people who have older 911s, and again, they look absolutely fantastic. There's no rusting. There's nothing, like, they don't sound bad. They are well taken care of, and part of that is because of the quality that was put into production back then.
Also, half a century of improvement on the same thing. This all leads to fantastic vehicles, which in turn leads to passionate fans. But the cars and the company are not without their flaws, and the brand is not what you might call approachable.
Oh no. Barriers to entry.
Porsche has never made affordable cars, but it's gotten a lot worse in recent
green
years, even accounting for inflation.
Nice.
They say that an entry-level Porsche is a used Porsche, but even the used ones are out of reach to many people. They're expensive, especially now. Even the crappy ones. A 350...
Hey, listen. 914, I've seen a 914 in real life. I don't know what its performance is like, but it looks really cool, right? It's like a Boxster before the Boxster.
56 has more in common with a Beetle than a 911, and they're still $100,000. People say stuff like, oh, you have to drive the turbo to really appreciate Porsche, neglecting to mention that a turbo costs more than a house in Duluth.
Exactly.
And if you decide to scrape together enough money, be sure to add another 20 or 30 grand for options. Everything is an option, and they're all expensive.
The classic Porsche tax.
These seats were $14,000. $6,000 interiors, $5,000 sound systems. You will not spend $123,000 on this car.
Nope.
Not even close. Another barrier to buying a Porsche is that if you buy one, you might become a Porsche driver. To be clear, I know a lot of great people who own and drive Porsche cars, but they do seem to have a disproportionately high number of insufferable douchebags behind the wheel.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me, right? Right. I'm cool, right?
Especially young people, if you're 20 and you own a Porsche, chances are pretty good that you were born on third base and walk around like you hit a triple. This is so true that driving a Porsche is a movie trope for someone you're supposed to hate. Even the
Again, now I feel so targeted, man. I feel so targeted. I'm not a villain. I'm not a villain, okay?
protagonists driving them are kind of pompous about it.
Porsche. There is
no substitute.
You.
The community has its own language. You say 911, but the specific generation digits are spelled out individually, like 997, and then they have T's and S's and 4S's and GTS's and GT3's and SC's. This one is a Super. I'm still not sure what Carrera means, but they seem to stick that on everything. This is a 2011 911 997.1 GT3 RS 4.0, which is a name only the Germans could come up with. The community has a lot of really intense nerds. If you have the Fuchs wheels on your 1976 Porsche, they better...
It's not exactly correct, the car that he just said, this one, but yeah.
Have the shallow step
close
between the
enough.
spokes and the
It's
bolt
close
pattern,
enough.
because if you try to pass off 1979 wheels, you will hear about it. Like right now, there is a cadre of Porsche fans freaking out because I called this a 2011 911 997.1 GT3 RS 4.0.
It's
and
a
it's
dot
actually a 2011 911 997.2 GT3 RS 4.
You can tell from first glance, I can tell because the what do you call it, the side lights on the dot ones, they kind of stick out more. Like I would need to show you an example of this. I'll try and edit in a picture to show what I'm talking about, but the dot 2 kind of cleans them up a little bit and kind of makes them they round them out into the air take. It actually looks really nice. I know a few people who have the dot 2s and the dot ones, and I look at them both and I'm just like, the dot 2 just really cleans up. It's the same with the Cayman in Boxster 987 dot 2 versus the dot 1. I just think the dot 2 just looks so much cleaner. It's like they looked at the first design and just thought, okay, how do we stylize this more? And it just works. It just works. It looks really nice.
0.0. When it comes to the specificity of obscure details, Porsche owners land somewhere between Rain Man and the Germans. This kind of weird passion for accurate details is not bad in and of itself, but it often leads to gatekeeping. You get this in other car subcultures, some more than others, but it is more pronounced.
I'm saying it all as a joke, like me being like, oh, it's not the right. But honestly, like if you make that sort of mistake, I'm not gonna throw a hissy fit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, if somebody says to me like, oh, that Cayman's a 987.1, right? Or just a 987. Like, I'm not going to be like, actually, it's a dot 2. It's a 987.2. Get it correct, please. Like, I'm not going to be like that. You know, that's such prickish behavior
In the Porsche community. So much so that there have been articles written on it. However, I have come to find out that there are a lot of really great people in the community, more so than I previously thought, and more so than a lot of other car subcultures. Several people took time to answer my questions on camera, and a few let me drive their very nice cars just to help me understand them better. You do.
I like that. See, if like I'm the type of person where if somebody's really like, hey, you know, I love your car, you know, can I sit in it? Or, you know, well, first off, let's talk about sitting it. If somebody asks me, can I sit in it? I'm going to be like, yeah, absolutely. Sit and like, go ahead, dude. I don't mind. But if somebody is like, can I drive it? Then, you know, we'll talk about it. Right. But I would like to be that person where it's like, hey, if somebody wants to see why I like my car so much and why I like Porsches, then I would absolutely, you know, given that everything's okay, let them drive my car, right? I haven't had that yet. I've had a bunch of people sit in it, which is always great because basically all of them come away being like, oh, this is so nice. And it does, like, seeing that puts a smile on my face.
You get the whole spectrum of people driving Porsches.
The brand.
All right, Porsche, you convinced me. I want one. I would like to buy a 911 Carrera GTS in shark blue.
Oh, nice.
No,
Why not?
I don't want to.
But you sell cars. I have money.
I don't care.
That doesn't make any sense.
Too bad.
Turns out you can't just show up and buy these. The wait times are past a year on a lot of these trims, and that's if you can get an allocation. If you're a new Porsche buyer looking to get a 911 Carrera with a few options, you might not even be able to get on the wait list. There are stories all over the place about dealers asking for an extra $25,000 for a spot on the list, or potential buyers being told to purchase another Porsche like a Macan or perhaps a watch just to be able to maybe buy a 911 a year from now. That red 991 I drove, the dealership is trying to get the owner to sell it back for considerably more than the MSRP of a new GT3. Why even put this number there?
Exactly.
This is not a Porsche thing. Ferrari has made a whole business out of this. You have to own a few used Ferraris, say really nice things about them, and attend their special events just to be on the list of people who can be allowed to buy a new Ferrari.
I'm holding my tongue about Ferrari. I feel like I'm already kind of giving the aura of being a Ferrari hater, even though I am a Ferrari hater, but I'm not gonna go on a rant about it.
Ferrari. A lot of rich people love this sort of stuff. It gives them a warm, fuzzy feeling of being better than you. I don't love it, and I'm not the only one.
You have no Ferraris. Why?
I just never like dealing with the dealers. I don't want to be told, well, you must buy 2 Mondial before you can buy this year. You have to buy 2 crappy cars before you, yes. Well, can I just buy the car, And then the idea that I have it for 2 years, then I take it back to get a certificate to prove that it's actually a Ferrari. That's 25. I just get tired of that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna rant about it. Fuck Ferrari, honestly. The fucking the snobbiness of their business model, and not only that, but the only 2 Ferraris that I would be like, oh yeah, I could see myself getting one of those if I really wanted one, is the Testarossa, which from what I've seen and reviews and stuff like that is not particularly great to drive. It looks great, but it's not that great to drive. Or a LaFerrari, which from the test videos I've seen isn't the fastest out of the Trinity, the Porsche 918 Spider, the McLaren P1, and the LaFerrari. The LaFerrari, if I remember correctly, is the slowest out of the ones, which again, I'm not saying speed is all that important, but again, when it comes to that, and it also being a Ferrari, of course, I'm going to get the Porsche. I would literally rather get the 2 other cars that I actually like. I like McLarens. I also like Porsche, obviously. So it's like, why would I get the Ferrari that is not only a Ferrari, but it's slower? So, but just the fucking snobbiness of their business model and their cars now. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of their latest Ferraris. Literally, the only one that looks nice is the Amalfi. All the other ones just look so fucking heinous. With like, they have this like black stripe on the front of it. It looks so bad. And they even butchered the new Testarossa. It looks so bad. Like, it just honestly, fuck Ferrari, honestly.
A lot of these games with dealer markups and allocations have to do with supply chain problems and a spike in demand over the last couple of years. People have extra money, parts are hard to get. In the middle of all of this, Porsche is experiencing a lot of interest from new buyers. I don't know where the company will go from here. More exclusivity and higher prices? Maybe. Most car companies make $2,000 or $3,000 profit on each car. For every car it sells, Ferrari makes on average $100,000 profit. Ferrari is a brand more than a car, and Porsche has jumped into the deep end of this lifestyle branding, blurring the lines between art and branded junk, a $4,000 muffler-shaped soundbar, a $300 wireless charging piston, a painted body stamping that costs more than a whole Nissan Versa. They have a store on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills where they will sell you a $30,000 watch. Harley-Davidson has done this for years. They limit the sale of new bikes in order to keep prices up and sell branded everything so that if you're flush on cash but short on personality, you can be a biker dude with one swipe of a credit card. And now, a certified car enthusiast. This seems to me like a cynical business move from just the kind of MBA who would drive a 911 in an 80s movie. This sort of stuff is not directed at me, not only because I don't own a Porsche, but also because I don't want to be these people.
Same.
This does not look appealing to me. It does not elevate the brand to me and makes it seem less valuable, but also somehow more expensive.
I do have like one piece of merchandise, like piece of clothing, and it's literally just a t-shirt with Cayman on it. Like that's it. That's the only thing I've bought from Porsche themselves, but that's it. It's not even like it's literally just like a black shirt, right? It's not stylish or anything. It's not like these people in the picture in front of us. It's just a shirt, just a t-shirt. That's it. The only other things that I have is like keychains and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Like that's good, but that's only because I like collecting keychains, right? Like I have a keychain collection. But I would not buy a lot of the stuff that that this guy just showed off. Again, the fucking muffler sound system was so stupid, honestly.
Like name brand NFTs, which is also a thing they sell. Harley-Davidson
I wonder how that's going.
Played their hand with this, and they almost went out of business. When people couldn't get one of their bikes, they just went to other bikes. On top of that, they've been having a hard time making motorcycles for new riders because their brand is so inextricably associated with a dying generation. The only Harley that I would consider buying is the one that is wildly different from the rest of them, also, coincidentally, the one engineered by Porsche.
Really?
Ferrari sells Italian design, sexy red paint wrapped around a beautiful engine in a fast car. Harley sells the image of bold individuality, the open road, and heart disease. Porsche sells engineering. It's in their name. It's right there. Wait, is engineering the new hot thing? Am I, SuperfastMatt, sexy and cool? No, I am not. And I know a lot of other engineers, and none of them are sexy or cool either. The difference between Ferrari and Porsche is that Ferrari is selling hand-built cars and exclusivity, both of which require production to be lower than demand. The difference between Harley and Porsche is that Porsche makes really good vehicles. But a vehicle goodness is relative to its cost. A $150,000 Cayman GT4 RS might be a good car, but at $250,000, it's probably not. And right now, nobody is getting these for anywhere near the MSRP.
The good.
And yet, in spite of all of this, you can't deny that the cars are very, very good. All the reviews, all the tests, all the numbers say the same thing. I used to own a first-generation Dodge Viper GTS ACR. It was a great car, but it was not a very good car. It was not even remotely a good car.
Oh no.
The brakes were comically small, the interior plastic and cheap, the suspension so stiff that it would transmit every road bump directly into my spine. But it was great.
But that's the thing, man. Like, it's all cheap, but it's cheap speed. Like, that's the American dream, isn't it?
It always put a smile on my face. It had amazing acceleration. It would light up the rear tires, sometimes when you weren't even expecting it. It was a poster on the wall of a generation. It was great, in the same way that Alexander was great. It was a sledgehammer. Great, but only at a few things. Defeating and enslaving and doing wicked burnouts, creating an empire so fragile that it only lasted a few years. Porsche does not make great cars. They make good cars. Very good cars. They are not reckless egomaniacs blasting through the opposition and failing to plan for the future. The 356 is not a GT40 or a 250 GTO or a Cobra. It is not great at one thing to the detriment of everything else. It is really good at all the things it needs to be good at to be a good sports car. The 911, the successor to the 356, a better car. The G Series, the 964, the 993, 996, 997, 991, and 992 were all better than the last. Incrementally improved to be very good cars. Great cars have fundamental flaws, a window you can't see out of, a door you can't get past, or the tendency to spin out for no reason. Some people would say that the rear engine of a 911 is a flaw, extra weight hanging off the back giving you a bad weight distribution while the Corvette has a perfect 50-50 split. But if you know anything about performance cars and race cars, you should know that 50-50 is not perfect, especially for a rear-wheel drive car. When you're braking, your weight balance shifts forward, so if you start with it in the rear, you get more evenly loaded under braking, and so you slow down faster. When accelerating, you want more weight on the driven tires, so it's better to start with a slightly rear weight bias. Even in an all-wheel drive car, you never have enough power to always break the tires loose, but you do always have enough brakes to lock them up, so it's still an advantage to have the weight bias to the rear. The rear engine also gives extra space for rear seats, and yes, these are very small, but it does make the car a more practical car.
I have seen families, like literally families, like the kids in the back, so they do use them. Oh, also the what would you call them? The actual back seats, the back pads, they fold down and people just put their luggage or their their beer on there. So, you know, they do try to make usage out of it.
Great cars have tragic flaws. Porsche's flaws aren't tragic. They're not even flaws. They're trade-offs to make the car better at being a car. People like to look at numbers, horsepower, 0 to 60, Nürburgring times, but cars have to be more than individual numbers. You can do a 4-second quarter mile, but it doesn't matter if there's nowhere to put the groceries. Cars are more than the sum of their parts, some cars more than others. This, I think, is where Porsche really stands out. Car designs have different forces: cost, style, performance, safety, comfort. Some companies balance these poorly, some companies prioritize one aspect to a fault. Engineering is the process of balancing requirements. A well-engineered car has the best balance of all these things. Porsche does not have a great engineering team inside a big company. Porsche is a great engineering company. They do two things better than anyone else. They engineer the whole car together as a system, and then they continuously improve it. They have always been good at making a sports car that is also usable as an actual car. They didn't limit the usability to chase lap times, but now they've improved so much that they have variants that will obliterate the lap times of cars that are built to only set lap times.
I have my Cayman. It has two boots, like an actual proper rear boot, and then what would you call the frunk? The front trunk, a rear trunk and a front trunk. And whenever I go shopping, even like, let's say 4 bags and four full bags, blah, blah, and a box of Diet Coke, right? All of that can fit into the front trunk. It is cavernous in there. But that's the good thing about these cars, is that I can use them as an actual car, right? And some people have come up to me being like, where's the engine? And then I point out the back end, and, you know, I lift up and say, and I'm like, here, like I even have more space in the back for groceries or anything else, like boxes, you know, what have you. And they're just like completely dumbfounded, because you think sports car, there's no room to put in like practical stuff, like, again, like groceries and stuff like that. And they're just they're just totally dumbfounded. It's funny to see.
A few weeks ago, my friend Robin Shute won the Pikes Peak Hill Climb in a prototype race car. Second place was David Donner in a nearly stock 911 Turbo S on street tires, beating out all sorts of purpose-built race cars. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
For the past 25 years, much of my life has revolved around cars. My job, my hobbies, my side gigs, auto racing, off-road, electric, combustion, motorcycles, all over the map. Most of the map, anyway. I never really got into cars like Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and that's really just because they're not for me. Why would I spend $300,000 on a car when I could spend $3,000 on 100 cars? But what about Porsche? What about that 911 GTS in shark blue? Would I spend $142,000 on this car if that's all it took to actually buy it? I don't know. That's a lot of money.
I would.
I guess that depends on how good I do at my job in the future.
But I would go for a Cayman, which would be cheaper, and I would still get those options. Maybe not as fast, but I mean, I'm just a Cayman guy. Like that, like I've kind of come to accept, like, I love 911s, I love Boxsters, I love basically all the models, but I'm just a Cayman guy.
My job being to make videos and to convince you to hit that subscribe button and maybe that thumbs up, wink wink, nudge nudge. But it doesn't matter right now because I can't get one anyway, and that's the real problem with Porsche. They're not making enough Porsches. I don't know if that will change in the coming years, but I can say with some confidence that I know what Porsche will be doing in 5 or 10 years. They will be making a 2-door, 4-seat sports car that kind of looks like a fat guy sat on a Beetle. And it will be a very good car.
Oh yeah, man.
It used to be that you had to impress people to get people to watch your show. Now you just have to impress the algorithm. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. All hail the algorithm.
All hail the algorithm. Okay. Yeah, I love Porsche. What can I say? I think that this video honestly does a tremendous job as to explain like why people, including myself, love Porsche. Again, when I bought my car, I didn't buy it to be flashy, like, oh, look at me, I got a Porsche. Like, I literally bought it for myself. I'm thinking of maybe doing a video closer to my birthday talking about why I bought my car, like the actual personal reason why I bought it. Not just because it's a dream car, but because it was something more to do with like mental health and stuff like that, and why and how buying that car has actually changed my life so much for the better. And I don't know, I'm thinking of maybe making a video about that closer to my birthday, so look out for that. But anyway, I love this video. Go subscribe to SuperFast. Oh no, there we go, SuperfastMatt. Great channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I know I was a bit late with this reaction video, but I'm trying to get into the swing of things now that the holiday season is over. So again, if you like this, please consider subscribing, liking, all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Ta!